something big just shifted inside the Warriors organization. Insiders are hinting that a major trade is coming, and the timing feels critical. Fans are reading between the lines, the front office is moving quietly, and this could be the moment Golden State decides to go all in. Whatever happens next won't be small. This move could redefine the Warriors' future and send shockwaves across the league. Something big has just changed inside Golden State, and if you've been paying close attention to the Warriors over the last few days, you can feel it in the air. This doesn't feel like a normal stretch of the season. This doesn't feel like business as usual. There's a different energy around this team right now, a sense that the front office, the locker room, and even the stars themselves understand that the clock is ticking and a major move is coming. Warriors fans all over the world are asking the same question today: what exactly is about to happen? And why does it feel like the next trade could completely reshape this franchise? Let's start with the reality Golden State is facing right now. The Warriors are no longer the young, carefree dynasty that shocked the league years ago. This is a veteran team built around one of the greatest players in NBA history, Stephen Curry, and every season that passes makes his championship window more precious. Inside the organization, there's a growing understanding that standing still is no longer an option. Small adjustments won't cut it anymore. Rotations, role changes, and minor signings can only take you so far. What Golden State needs now is a real swing, a bold decision that signals they are all in on maximizing Curry's remaining prime years. And here's where things start to get interesting. Over the last stretch of games, the Warriors' body language has been telling a story. You can see it on the bench, in the way veterans communicate, and in the way younger players are being challenged more aggressively. There's been more accountability, more urgency, and more direct conversations. This usually doesn't happen unless management has already started serious internal discussions. When a front office begins weighing a major trade, the ripple effects show up early, long before anything becomes official. One of the biggest changes happening inside Golden State right now is clarity. For the first time in a while, the Warriors seem to know exactly who they are and who they are not. They know what works, and more importantly, they know what doesn't. There have been moments this season where talent alone hasn't been enough. Defensive breakdowns, inconsistent scoring stretches, and the inability to close out tight games have all raised red flags. Inside the organization, those red flags are no longer being ignored. They're being treated as warning signs that demand action. Stephen Curry's role in all of this cannot be overstated. While he may not be making trade calls himself, his influence is everywhere. Curry has always been patient, loyal, and team first, but he's also fiercely competitive. He doesn't want moral victories. He wants banners. And when a superstar of his caliber starts carrying himself with a little more intensity, when his post-game comments subtly shift, the front office listens. There's a quiet understanding that wasting another year of Curry's greatness would be unforgivable. At the same time, the Warriors are dealing with tough internal questions about their roster balance. Youth versus experience. Development versus contention. For years, Golden State tried to walk the fine line between building for the future and winning now. That experiment hasn't completely failed, but it hasn't delivered the dominance fans were hoping for either. Now, there's a strong sense that the organization is ready to pick a side. And all signs point toward choosing the present. This is why trade talks feel different right now. It's not about adding depth at the margins. It's not about swapping role players. The conversations happening behind closed doors are about impact. About finding someone who can change the rhythm of the team, take pressure off Curry, and raise the Warriors' ceiling in the playoffs. That kind of player doesn't come cheap, and Golden State knows it. Sacrifices will have to be made, and not everyone on the roster is untouchable anymore. There's also a psychological shift happening. When a team knows a major trade is coming, players start looking inward. Some feel motivated to prove they belong. Others feel the pressure of uncertainty. That tension can actually be productive if managed correctly. And right now it looks like the Warriors are leaning into it. Practices are sharper. Rotations are being tested. Coaches are experimenting more. All of this suggests preparation, not panic. Another important factor is the league itself. The Western Conference is as unforgiving as ever. There are no easy matchups, no nights off. Teams around Golden State are getting better, faster, and more aggressive. Standing pat while rivals make bold moves would be a death sentence in this environment. The Warriors know that reputation alone won't win games anymore. Past championships don't scare opponents the way they used to. To regain that edge, Golden State needs a move that sends a message to the entire NBA. Fans have noticed the change too. The conversations online, the debates, the speculation, it's all intensified. Every lineup tweak, every unusual substitution, every quiet performance is being dissected. That's usually what happens right before something big breaks. Warriors fans have been through this before. They remember how quickly things can shift when the front office decides to act. One day it's rumors, the next day it's a headline that changes everything. What makes this moment even more fascinating is how calm the organization appears on the surface. There's no public drama. No desperate quotes. No obvious leaks. That's classic Golden State. When they move quietly and decisively. And when a trade finally happens, it often feels sudden to the outside world, even though it's been months in the making internally. That's why this current silence is actually louder than noise. Inside the locker room, leadership is stepping up. Veterans are holding younger players accountable. The coaching staff is emphasizing details that matter in playoff basketball: defensive rotations, late-game execution, physicality. These aren't the habits of a team content with where it is. These are the habits of a team bracing for transformation, preparing to integrate a new piece that could tilt the balance. There's also an emotional layer to all of this. Trades are not just transactions, they're disruptions. They change relationships, routines, and roles. The Warriors are a franchise built on chemistry and trust, so any major move carries weight. But sometimes, the hardest decisions are the most necessary ones. And right now, it feels like Golden State has accepted that reality. The biggest takeaway from everything happening today is this: the Warriors have reached a turning point. The internal conversations have shifted from "can we make this work?" to "how do we take the next step?" That's a crucial difference. One mindset is reactive. The other is proactive. And proactive teams are the ones that make championship-altering moves. As the days go on, the tension is only going to grow. Every game will be viewed through the lens of what it means for the roster. Every performance will be evaluated not just for what it is, but for what it could mean in trade discussions. That's the stage Golden State is in right now. It's uncomfortable, uncertain, and risky, but it's also full of possibility. If you're a Warriors fan, this is one of those moments you'll remember. The calm before the storm. The stretch where you can feel that something big is about to break, even if you don't know exactly what yet. All signs suggest that when the move finally comes, it won't be small, and it won't be safe. It will be bold, intentional, and designed to give Stephen Curry and this franchise one more real shot at glory. So keep your eyes open. Watch the rotations. Listen closely to the tone of post-game interviews. Pay attention to who's being challenged and who's being empowered. Because something big has already changed inside Golden State, and the major trade everyone is waiting for feels closer than ever. When it finally happens, the entire NBA is going to feel the shockwaves, and the Warriors' story will enter a brand new chapter.